Hello and welcome everybody to All Things Ayahuasca. My name is Anna Papadakis. I'm a body-centered therapist in Melbourne. And on this podcast, we explore plant medicine in depth with Michael Guron. Michael is a ceremonialist with over a decade of experience working with the master plants. And today we are discussing psychedelic visuals.
Hey Anna, how you going?
Hi, Michael. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Well, I think this topic is one of the things that people are really, really fascinated with and are hoping to experience and are looking forward to. And I think it's one of those things when, that has that association of drug taking. I'm going to take a drug and I'm going to get to have visuals. And
Yeah.
as we've kind of unpacking through our episodes of what this medicine actually is, rather than, this is one effect, I'm going to take this drug and have this effect. It's not quite that simple, is it?
No. Um, yeah, as I usually speak, I would like to take a kind of like the eagle view again and just go backwards and have a look at ourselves as a society. This is something that is essential for us to do to get a greater sense of perspective about our current state of evolution and where we're at with our evolution and of consciousness at this time on planet Earth. And over and over, we are noticing how disconnected the Western societies from our spiritual nature, from our internal landscape. That fundamentally, this is who we are. Really, everything is internal, and the imagery is the language of the subconscious. It's the language of the unseen world, the internal landscape that we really experiencing, most of us, each and every night when we're going to sleep and we're dreaming. And it's the same aspect that happening to us during ceremony. So really, we are dreaming awake while we're going through the process. We know that the pineal gland that is in the middle of our brain uh, release what we call the DMT, the dimethyltryptamine molecule secretion from the brain, which is some people call the spirit molecule. And this is what creates the internal imagery uh, internally, naturally within the biology of our physique, which is quite interesting, isn't it? And for thousands of years, our ancestors, the older culture, knew fundamentally what it is and the power that it has. The Egyptian mythologies all talking about the inner eye, the all-seeing eye, the eye that is internal, that is described as the pineal gland, that secrete those the spirit molecule. And so, where we are working with the psychedelic plants, psychoactive plants, plants that are activating and have the activating the pineal gland, that's one thing, and they bring with them uh, very, very similar, structurally speaking, the DMT, the dimethyltryptamine, into our brain. Personally speaking, I don't like to differentiate and put those labels and names on natural substances, as it, for me personally, I feel that it's almost created disconnection and a sense of coldness or something that is foreign for us. But really, it's all everything that Mother Earth produce, all the plants. There are it's substances that are natural for our physique. It's a something that is very natural. And so because of that deep disconnection that society has, the Western world, uh, it became almost like a gimmick, like a gadget that people are really excited about when they think about going through the psychedelic experience in general, whether it's different drugs or something like that, and it became like the theme that makes people curious about the experience, and that's the main thing that people being called to are really curious about. And so, with our current modern civilization, we have all the stimuli on the phones and the colors, and we constantly swipe in and see the AI imageries, and it's all look like really exciting and really cool. And fundamentally, behind everything, this is our birthright to have that internal landscape. And the moment that we are starting to journey with the medicine, it's becoming evident to us that that's who we are. It's like have a wonder from the fact that you can walk, kind of a thing. This is just like walking. This is like seeing. This is like hearing. It's another aspect of our personal processing of
Senses.
our reality, of what we can do and what our biology provide us.
Mhm.
So yeah, there's a lot of aspect to it. And many times when people are coming to retreats, they want to see, they want to experience the visuals, and that's the main thing where they're coming from. And then basically we are it's important for us to pause for a minute and see, wait a second, what is actually going on while we are experiencing that visual, and does it happen every time, or that is the main thing that is happening right here and right now. So it's all these things to ponder upon, if that is the main thing, yes, no, or what to do with that.
Yeah. It feels like you're seeing the mathematics of the universe, like the codes of the universe.
Yeah. Well, obviously, it's a little bit more than just dreaming, right? Because there's much, much, much more of that substance in our brain in the moment of the journey. And that's what it happens. If the brain would have secreted that much, that's what would have looked like, really. And we know that the yogis, or there's different practices like Kundalini experiences, where we can really shift the energy up all the way through our spine and lift it up all the way to the pineal gland, just behind the eye, just there in the middle of our brain. And that will create a very, very similar effect. Fascinating.
Can I just clarify something about the DMT, which is like a scientific term, which is why it's sort of like put upon something organic? We give it a scientific term, DMT, or I think I'm going to
Yep,
pronounce
the
it.
tryptamine.
Yeah. And go, oh, that's what it is, as if that's the truth. But that's a label, a scientific label put on something that's a natural thing.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
yeah, so it's in the plant, but it also is in the brain. So the plant activates it in the brain, or it's not in the plant.
No, the plant brings that into our biology. The brew, the extraction, bring that into our biology. Saying that, it's a little bit complex than that, because we are dealing with magical plants that are dictating in a non-rational way how that would be expressed through our biology. For example, we can, if you just put it generally, when people having just the smoke, just what do you call the crystal, just the actual DMT that comes into the brain, and that's it. You will experience that. It will express itself through the pineal gland. You'll see the visuals. You'll experience the experience, which is what we're talking about. However, when we talking about the plant and her ability to create a very synchronized, precise surgery-like effect in the right time and the right moment. It's not just, okay, I'm having a drink and it's going to happen straight away. It's going to come in the right moment. It could be absent for the whole time because that's not what you need to experience at all,
Yeah, it doesn't happen
right?
every
Which is
time.
fascinating.
Mm.
And then if it's the right time, for example, all right, let's go deeper. Now I'm ready, like whatever your intention is, whatever is your state of your consciousness is, you could drop in all the way, and then you just like you delve in into the journey, and then she will make it flowing all the way, and it's gonna be like a whole screen of imagery and intensity that can happen throughout this journey.
Can you I really want to do a bit of description of what kind of that imagery might look like. How can we describe it? I mean, we have those classic 70s psychedelic imagery of a moving geometrical neon sometimes.
Basically, the imagery is a combination of many things. Fundamentally, it's a combination of many things. First and foremost, it's the expression of our psyche. It's the expression of the plants. It's the expression of the energetic archetypes, energies that we're working with on that specific moment in time. So it's not. It will never be a straightforward process. Okay. So, for example, one type of imagery could be an expression of the underworld. It could be an expression of deep, worms, snakes, things that are under, like in our gut, like microbiome. It can be like snakes, spiders, insects, things that are expressing the shadow. It can be like monsters. It can be like heavy vibrational, supposedly expression of ourselves, of who we are. And while we're experiencing that, we may experiencing that we need to release certain things that are correlated to that, or we may experiencing mirroring of our own shadow while we're experiencing that thing. So it will be, for example, I'm going through a part of myself that I pushed aside. uh, I don't know, it could be like a manipulator, an internal manipulator that wants to gain everything for myself, and I'm gonna take and take and take, and then the medicine will bring that up, and it will be like, all right, so why do I want to do this? And then you will see the imagery coming up in and out, and then you will have to release that part within yourself because there is a need that is not being met, and then you're going through the healing process. So, for example, it could be the other way around. So it could go like, now we're, because it's a very dynamic medicine, it's not just a constant frame. It's always going into the shadows and into the light, into the shadows and into the light. So we're going in and out, in and out. And then, for example, it can be the other way around. So we could experience, for example, um, uh, in astral temples, with a specific vibration of really high energy, and a specific song that will lift the energy all the way up, and we can see these astral temples of ascended masters or something along these lines, or going all the way up to the to pure light, so we can experience that, and that will be like expression of that, and that will create an emotional part within myself that will show me how small I am, and create an awe and reverence and respect towards this infinite power, for example. Or it can be like just not just like a heart expression. So it will show me colorful, beautiful, hearty expression that will get me to my power that comes from my heart, and it could be like wormholes or tunnels, and sometimes it can be just silly, funny things, just an expression of mind, or it can be like a dancing plant. Sometimes they like to dance, and sometimes um, uh, general expression when the medicine would like to show herself. The spirit of the plant could show herself in a majestic way, and so there's many, 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 many,
Multitude.
many expression. It's infinite type of expression of what could happen while we're going through a journey. So one of the aspects of the visual is the ability to see,
Mhm.
and its internal sight, right? Its internal sight. So the spiritual world we can see from the inside. We don't need to open our eyes to see. Even when you open your eyes and you see things expressing themselves from the other side, it's still coming from an internal
Yeah.
space, right?
Yeah.
So it's our capacity to observe things internally, and the expression of the different energies. I call it energies. We can call them spirits too. Spirits and energies that are here to support us. So we have many, many, many layers of expression. It's depend on the space. It's depend on the facilitator, the maestro. It's depend on the medicine, and what energies the medicine choose to bring into that space that is allowed in that safe space. Uh, those supporting energies. It could be extraterrestrial life, a consciousness that coming down to support us. It could be elementals. It could be spirits of different plants that express themselves in such way. It could be in energies of, our tutelary animal guides, our protectors. It can be, like the jaguar coming in and helping us to clear our own energetic space. It could be the eagle suddenly weaving through our space. It can be the anaconda swallowing us up all the way and pull us in and out. So there are expression of energies that we are working with uh, to try to grasp what each thing is doing is not a necessary thing. We need to bring that trust and
Surrender.
that internal knowing that it's okay while we're
Mhm.
working, obviously, in a safe space and yada, yada, yada. If the space wasn't safe, that's another story.
Yes.
Um, when the visuals or something feels not quite right. But generally speaking, that what would it be?
I have this question for myself, this sense that I wanted to ask you. I've had a few experiences now, and at early days, I was wanting, you would say you may not experience the visuals, and that's not really the main thing. And early days, I would be feeling really ripped off. I was kind of searching. In most times, I do experience it, but if I didn't, I really felt like I missed out. Nowadays, I don't tend to think about that so much. But when I am experiencing that, really delving into that multidimensional psychedelic space, I have this sense that whilst I'm like forwardly like diving into that, like front on, that in the background, that's when there's work, when I'm being worked on. I don't, this term psychic surgery, or like so much more is happening, like 100 times more stuff is like being worked out in my psyche in the background that I can't actually see, but I have a sense of that. Is that plausible? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, totally. So I found that, again, the moment that we're tapping into our biology and our current state where we're at in our development, and uh, what is our intention, where we're getting to ready to go deeper, and the medicine choose um, to take us deeper into a specific, that's what people are, really looking forward to. Like one of those things when the medicine take you all the way and you're losing yourself and everything is going pear-shaped and you're just like, whatever.
You
So
don't have a
this is,
body anymore.
yes. So this is something that is amazing, but at the same time, it's not the only thing that we can do. But if the medicine choose to do so and you are ready for it, it's almost like there is I like to describe it as a locking mechanism when there is like in the brain, and the medicine choose to release the whole DMT thing into the brain, and it's removing your egoic persona out of the way completely, and then you just completely going into a world of visuals and other worldly expressions and spaces. And while you're experiencing those spaces, basically what you're saying is that can happen regardless all the time. throughout any journey, uh, regardless what you were saying about work at the background. Specifically on that thing, you are able to notice, because I'm so deep and you're so journeying in otherworldly spaces, but your perception is that, all right, there's something going on just there. I know it. I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure. I'm so deep right now. There's
Yeah.
all these tunnels of lights happening in front of me, and I can't see anything with open eyes right now. And everything is a carpet of light. But I know that something is happening just there
Yeah.
behind me. And I know there's more to it. And I'm not quite sure what does it mean, but I know something is happening there. Yeah. So that's completely normal. And again, it's the rational mind trying to grasp hold on to things. It's just that your awareness was ready to comprehend that that was happening. Saying that that would happen throughout most journeys. It's just your perception is not there. Like you can't comprehend that. So whenever you are ready to comprehend that there is something that might happen, it will link you. Eventually, you may receive the teachings of what that was about. Maybe not. Maybe it will express itself in 5 journeys later. Maybe, I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah.
But we come in again with that internal attitude of trust, of spirit, trust in the medicine, that we're coming to her with ourselves with open arms. I'm just surrendering here, specifically with Aya. Grandfather is a bit different. It's very similar but different,
Yeah.
and we're just allowing. We're in a space of allowing, and we're receiving whatever we need to receive in
Mm.
that space. So
And I think
answering the
that,
question.
yeah, I think that, well, there's just always, it's a bit like, well, the unconscious, like with the visuals or whatever's happening in a ceremony, we can only comprehend a tiny fraction of what really happens. But that sense of, it's like, oh, I'm having a computer software upgrade, or, that's the kind of sense of like there's upgrades working in like the minutiae of my brain or my software.
Yeah. Look, during those intense, what we're describing really is like an intense trance-like state, where during those times as well, there is a specific downloads and wisdoms and what we describe as genetic upgrades and wisdom and transmission. You're talking about that. There is a transmissions that we could receive more consciously, and what we call upgrade is when we're the medicines, through that the medicine would open up. It's creating higher vibrational state of the whole body. We're becoming more liquefied in our body, and the body is able to receive more uh, cosmic wisdom, cosmic energies that will ripple throughout the internal landscape as well as the biology. The biology will open up, and we will feel very, very, very different because our genetic codes are ever so slightly just opening up a bit more, and there is different what we call turned off genetic codes that are starting to opens up, and that will give us and this is something very unique, by the way, that is never happened before, because the big story, the big picture of what we're looking at the moment as we're stepping into the new age and the evolution of human consciousness and the great awakening of who we are and coming back to our true power, our the masterful creators of what we can create in this dimension, in this world, just from our internal landscape. So what we describe as the junk DNA, or what scientists don't understand, that is turned off, but it's just there. But throughout the medicine work, ever so slightly, every journey, everything that we do, and naturally that is happening regardless. But every time we're doing ceremony, it's like, all right, get that this is an activation of part of your genetic right now, and that will create a ripple in your existence, in your perception, in your memories. We're starting to open that ancient memories, starting to waking up, which is an amazing, amazing process that we are experiencing at the moment. This is something that we never, as a collective, never experienced before on planet Earth like that. And so through our genetic codes, our ancestral lineages, we're starting to remember who we are. So we started to go back and back and back and back. And that's coming through those intense transmission and upgrades and psychic surgeries that I don't try to understand how it works, but I know it works and I feel it in my bones. And I know that the person that I was a year ago is not the same person. The person that I was 10 years ago is not the same person. Our psychic abilities are opening up, our ability to visualize and to create, and the feedback that we will receive from the field of creation around us, the field of existence, is coming back much faster. It's interesting. It's amazing.
It's amazing. And I think the perception of that is, again, like, I can't believe how strong the hippie kind of thing, the hippie stereotype and psychedelics is so strong in the psyche of what we assume of that as irresponsible, as all spiritual and loose and, boundaryless, and like as if getting those upgrades or getting switched on or having plant medicine is going to make you less grounded. But actually,
Yeah.
I have found the opposite, that I've been supported to have stronger boundaries, have greater clarity to confront and address difficult things in my life. Like, this medicine has helped me, I think, more tangibly in that regard, and also to take things less personally, to stay present, to deal with confrontations better, to deal with difficult situations better, to stay in. So, it's not like the connotations of what you just said, bring to me those hippie connotations of like, hey, it's all love and cool, man, and no worries. And actually, it's like integrity, vigor, it's really strong internal structures that I feel have been built and honed through, as well as more fine tunement of sensitivity and perception. And I just wanted to say that because I think there's a real misunderstanding about spirituality.
Look, again, I have to go back and have a look at the general perspective, and we're going in and out all the time. We're going out to the bigger perspective and going diving into the details. So why is that? There is a need behind everything that hasn't been met, and we're looking at that need. There is a belief system underneath everything that need to be expressed. People are doing a lot of medicine work. Sometimes they're just going in circles. They're doing like drugs. They're going in circles. you know it's depending on maturity as a person. If you are able to really go and have a look at those deeper belief systems within yourself, and if you haven't done them, that's what we're going to see. So we're going to see expressions of, everything is overly expressive. There is a need to be seen behind that creates this whole thing. um, and that's an issue that we're experiencing at the moment on the planet, right? On the Western society, especially the overly attention that we need, seeking attention all the time because of the media and all these things that I don't want to go into too much, but that's where it's at,
Yeah.
and the connotations coming from there. So, but if you're a mature person that wants to do a deep work, that wants and able to have a look at his emotional, spiritual belief systems, how you grew up, all the aspects who makes you who you are in this life, then you receive all these amazing teachings and an amazing juicy, substance and depth, and in power as well that comes with that, because you're becoming more responsible,
Yeah.
you're more aware, you can see where other people's are at, because you can recognize that and you see, look, there is a greater sense of, unconditional love because you know where they're at.
Mhm.
And that's responsible, like you're not gonna react to that. You'll try
Take
maybe if there
take
is
less
interaction.
personally. Yeah.
It's not personal, but you just see because you went through that, you overcome that, and you look and you said, look, I can do what I can do at the moment.
Mm.
People have a lot of words and opinions, and they just put it out there as if it's the only truth.
Yeah. But that when you say we're going out and having a big picture and then coming into the details and going out to the big picture and coming into the details, that happens in a ceremony as well. You're going out and seeing that, like, oh my God, creation and everything and the infinite, and then you're coming in to a really specific detail of your life and then out again, and it all matters. It's all the same. And, the tiny detail, it is the micro, the macro, it is the, you know, what's the word? The spiral, that everything is everything. But, you really get a sense of that because, yeah, you're shown like the endless, endless universe through psychedelic imagery. And then you're seeing, you might come in and have a visual of, a dead parent or have an interaction, that's highly like visual, or see a real thing about your personality from a tiny interaction. And that fractal is what I'm trying to say, that fractal
Fractal.
experience, right? Um, is what happens can happen in a ceremony.
Yeah, it's exactly what they teach. It's exactly what they share. Wachuma loved that stuff as well. This is one of his greatest source of teachings, to look within, and then we're going outside. We get a reflection. We're looking inside of us. We're getting a reflection. We're going all the way up, and then we're going all the way in. We're going all the way up, and then we're coming all the way down. And this is how it is. This
Yeah.
is one of the principles of our existence in this dimension.
There's another Terence McKenna quote, thing that he talks about is because when we're talking about spirituality and our reference is so strongly the church, and he's like, well, indigenous spirituality and plant medicine, we have a direct connection to God. We get a direct experience of spirit rather than having to go through the conduit or the representative, the mediator of that, which is the priest. So, as when we're taking plant medicine, we're having a direct experience with creation, and we don't have to have an intermediary.
Yeah, we are the creation. We are.
Yeah.
The bottom of the fractal, on the top of the fractal is creation itself. So the moment you realize that, it's like, oh, that's cool.
I was having a difficult moment in a ceremony, and I needed to purge, and I very rarely vomit, and I really dislike it. I'm like, "Oh, I need help," and, I just heard, "You don't have to do anything." And I was like, Is that you or is that my body?" And she said, "I am your body."
Yeah.
I think, there's things that are really crystallized strongly that your mind grasps onto in a ceremony that my theory is, and tell me if you agree with me on this. Like there's some times when there's words or there's thoughts or there's like concepts that I kind of churn over during the ceremony. And I used to kind of go, oh, stop kind of keeping on thinking about it like this is what I'm going to talk about tomorrow. And then I've come to think, well, those are the things that I consciously remember and can bring out. They're things that I can kind of like are to be remembered, and there's something happening that my mind is repeating them to me or churning, kind of working on them so that I can remember them as really strong kind of messages through the ceremony to then work on afterwards. But sometimes that can be imagery. I remember a woman, a beautiful woman who was doing a ceremony, and there was this at the beginning. There was this broken heart, like an image of this broken. I think it was rock, like shattered, like. And then at the end, she was given this shiny kind of ultra shiny plastic red, bright heart, like, handed to her, and it was like
Yeah.
this visual symbol of, the repair that had happened during the ceremony. So
Yeah.
there's also those sorts of visuals of visual symbology
Yeah.
that happen.
Yeah. As we mentioned earlier, it's the expression of the psyche is everything is about symbology. Everything is like an expression of what I need to experience right now. For example, for myself, it's one of my early journeys. I went through such an intense initiation. It was, one of the, memorable, journey that shifted completely all my psyche and my consciousness, and it's put me directly on my path. And, um,
Did you say
you know,
a memorable journey?
mem-
What
memorable journey,
memorable. Yeah, sorry, yeah.
memorable, such a memorable journey. But, I was in a complete death. I was just dissolving into this insect world, worms eating my body. I was completely just dissolving into the earth, becoming the earth. My body just like died completely. And then I'm seeing my body in a cocoon. And I was suddenly the cocoon became the womb, and I was birthing myself again, and I was going through the birth canal, and I feel the birth canal going through my head, and I feel like the connection and the edges of the vagina as I'm being birthed throughout the
Yeah,
whole body, and then I had to do the last push with my legs to come outside. And since then, I was a different person, but I was seeing myself completely going through that death, rebirth. It happened a few times. The first
yes,
time was the most intense. Um, but stuff like that, great source of symbology and death and rebirth and the
yeah.
re-emerging anew out of the darkness and reimagining yourself as who you are, and uh, your persona becoming a different person, and you just emerge anew out of that experience, which is something that is a must for most people to experience eventually in your life.
Yeah, stunning, stunning metaphors, stunning archetypal metaphors, and it makes me think. I love listening to Jungian stuff and archetypal stuff, and because of the dream work and the diving into visual metaphor, it's so rich, and I think there's some beautiful crossover of that putrefaction. They would talk about that putrefaction process of actually turning into back into the earth. And I'm sure that for some people that may be a scary thing if they were to fight that, if they were to resist that in a ceremony, but to surrender to that is, like, what's on the other side is that re-emerging, the rebirth.
Yeah, there's only one way to to get it, and it's letting go and trust fully. So
Yeah, and yeah, we're preparing for our death all the time. We're dying and rebirth and resurrecting all the time. I had a friend ask me recently, actually, like, isn't it bad for your brain to have your brain affected by this again and again? So I thought I'd ask you that to answer that question for her.
that for your brain. It's funny those it's like really interesting, when people
What's the drug connotation that you're thinking about
they're
drugs?
not hesitating to go to the doctor to get any type of prescription drug that has a list of side effect from here until China, and it's like over 200 potential side effects that may happen,
Yeah,
and that's a normal thing. But when you have a natural herb that is perfectly designed for your biology by nature, by Mother Earth, and then you question if it's healthy or not. We're looking at your grandmother medicine, both of them, all the medicines, they're amazing, powerful tonics. They're amazing, powerful tonics that help us to get better, to be stronger, and to cleanse our body, to open up the neural pathways in our brain. saying that, obviously, we're not going to overdo things. So obviously, we need to find a balance in between. So if we're going to do it every day for, it's not going to work well. So yeah, obviously, but over and over, how often over and over?
Yeah, yeah.
Everything in
But
moderation, include moderation, right?
yes, but it's also like, I mean, that's the drug connotation that this medicine is put into the drug camp. It's seen as a drug, as seen as pharmaceutical, as a recreational drug, and all the connotations of that. Um, but also, it's non-addictive, it's anti-addictive. So it's not like I've had this amazing time and come on, let's overdo it and do it again and blow
Yeah.
our socks off. You come out of a ceremony, you go, whew, I need a, I need a moment, or
I,
uh,
I, I need a
yeah.
break for a minute. Just hold on my seats here. My seatbelt is still on, and I'm just okay. Okay, I'm okay, but I'm gonna wait a couple months, see how
Or
things
a
are
couple of
unfold.
years,
Yeah,
or yeah. Mm. And sometimes you have no visuals at all in a ceremony, and it doesn't mean nothing's happening.
yeah. I said it earlier, and the medicine decide when she wanna do it. It's not up to you. It's not up to me. If you need to have visuals, great. If you have a type of expectations around those visuals, you might not be able to get them just because you have the expectation and that's what you want to see. So if that's what you want to see, maybe there is something a bit more interesting that you need to absorb and have a look at. So this is
Like how you're
one
wanting to be
potential
in
outcome.
control all the time.
Yeah, so okay, maybe just a distraction of something that I need to have a look internally. And also, some people are a bit more visual, some people are a bit more auditory, some people are a bit more in the felt sense. Personally, I'm not that of a visual person that see everything things. I'm in a heart knowing kind of omnipresence kind of space where I see from my heart, but my visual aspect is it's not my first most developed um, way of analyzing reality, if you know what I mean. I'm more
Yeah.
auditory, for example. I can hear more,
Mm.
and my sounds, I can hear things talking to me, and I'm more auditory rather. And some people will be more visual, and it will be their natural state of being. That's how their biology works better. So each to their own, and that's okay. It's not the main thing. As we said earlier, it's not the main thing. We come into with our intention. The visual is amazing. It's part of the experience. It takes us onto a journey. It can be exciting. It's help us to shift our mind, the rigidness, opening up, receive transmission, all these amazing things. The most important thing is don't have any attachment to those things, not always have attachment. Sometimes we're just trying to hold and grasp onto specific visual and we're not understanding. If you don't get it, let it go.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to have a specific meaning as well. If there is something that you've seen and you don't get it, it's okay. It's okay. It doesn't mean that you could open that up later on in integration circle, or you see if there was a specific feeling around that, or there is a symbology around that you couldn't analyze during the process, and that's okay. You just let it go.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But just another thing I wanted to bring in was, we touched on it a minute ago, was the music and the visuals are interwoven. And also, like, you've got a little bit of that cloth behind you, which has that kind of geometric. I mean, that is a Icaros. Like, the songs are those geometric patterns, and a lot of like that intermingling of sound and visual. Like,
yeah. How to express
did
it?
I say, did I ask a question then? Yeah, the sounds and the visuals are kind of the same thing in a way. Like,
That's right. Sound is vibration, visuals is vibration, everything is vibration, everything is vibrating. For example, this gorgeous, amazing, what we call a shipibo altar manta, shipibo cloth artwork is a weaving of a specific song of the Shipibo tribes, the masters of the jungles, the master of the plants, that holds their wisdom of how to work and diet plants and working with them in such a deep, intimate way for very long time. We don't know how long, but they created this amazing weaving of that are expression that could be an expression of specific plants, and the song of a specific plant that wish to express its visual. It's the visual of the plant and the song at the same time. So it's a song, it's like a map of consciousness that express itself visually while the singing the song, with the singing the Icaro. And just by having something like that here will will bring the vibration of the plant into the space. You just need it there visually. It will create the vibration. It will open the space because of that, because the vibration of what it's expressed, the visual expression of a specific song, of a specific vibration of a specific plant. Amazing, amazing.
So could someone from the Shipibo tribe look at that and know that song? Know that
Yeah,
Ikaro?
that's just
The language.
obviously obviously not everyone. The people that
Yeah.
it's quite
Initiate. Yeah.
generalization, but generally speaking, they can look at the cloths. The mamas are doing it, or the aunties, and they're sitting down and they're weaving and they're looking at the expression, and then, all right, this is for that plant. That's Yerik Sanango. Okay, this is ayahuasca. Okay, this is this is the tobacco. So they're looking at the thing and they know exactly what plant they're working with, and what's the expressive. Now, I don't know if not all of them will know how to sing it. Not everyone's singing, but they know what it is.
Love that so much. Love it.
Yeah.
And then you notice those shapes and patterns everywhere in all ancient cultural artwork, that geometric, psychedelic geometric kind of patterns that are the sort of same patterns that come in the visuals, the same sort of shapes and patterns that you see in those Shipibo weavings. They're everywhere.
Yeah. Obviously there is variations and
Yeah.
different things, but you could have a look at the glasswork at churches in Europe, the old churches that are architecturally are marvel of beauty and expression of that. You can have a look at some of the Sufi mosques in Iran and
Oh, yeah.
Mediterranean. You can look
Oh,
out top
yeah.
of the top, and it's just like a marvel of expression. You can have a look at carpets, the
Yes.
Persian carpets, the Afghani carpets. They're just a marvel of mandalas. You can have a look at mandalas in India, Nepal, Tibet. They're doing the mandalas of the expression of
Yeah.
that as well. It's all over. It's everywhere. We can have a look at the dream time, the dreaming of the Aboriginal people of Australia. They have like visuals and obviously different mythology and the way they work, but it's an expression of that. Every land got their own vibration, and every land will express itself slightly differently. Different culture, different genetics will express the genetics are the expression, right?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
physical expression of the genetic will express itself differently in different form because of the land where we reside. We become the land. Wherever you reside, you become it. And that's the expression of the jungle, or the expression of the desert, or the expression of the jungles in Australia, or the expression of Vietnam or Thailand, and all those amazing temples out there. So all over the world, everywhere,
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, and in the ancient and the current. Yeah. Oh, so beautiful. Such a pleasure to explore and share and delve into all of that with you today.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. That was great. Thanks for the question. Thank you for your sharing.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, everyone. Next time we're going to be exploring, like, how many ceremonies should I have? And is there some kind of like progress that you can uh, map over time, a kind of progression Please like and subscribe, support us by doing that. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. You can have access to more information about Michael's work in the links below. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.
Thank you.